Let's get the party started.
Oh, baby!
When was the last time you shit your pants?
You think I'm a goddamn fool?
I shit my pants last night.
It's a beautiful planet. Well, it's a moon for sure.
I'm sick and tired of all this bullshit. Put that in your package for me.
What's up, everybody? Josh from the Clearing Waivers podcast coming at you for another episode of the Clearing Waivers podcast. Been a little while since I've seen you, and it's been a while since you've seen us. We appreciate you stopping by for this week's episode. Tonight we've got to talk about those red-hot Royals that just can't stop running, can't stop scoring runs, can't stop winning games. It is just an absolute bloodbath every time they come out to the ballpark. So we're pumped up to talk about them. Certainly not at all cold on this team. So we'll get into that a little bit with clearing the waivers. And then we've got some shenanigans, some old school shenanigans. This is going to be kind of an OG episode for what we've got planned for you tonight. And speaking of OG episode, we've got a returning host. Haven't seen his beautiful face in a while or heard his sultry tone voice. Rance is back. Rance, how's your time away from the podcast been, man?
It's been all right. Like I said, my wife has been working at double time, so it's just been me and the little one quite a bit. I'm out of school, and that's big. So had a lot of downtime and just enjoying a little bit of the summer break until August, until I'm back at it. So,
well, the listeners have all wondered where you've been.
so I'm sure they've been clamoring for my return.
is the right word. They're wanting Rance's Royals takes because we haven't really got any since spring training was probably
that's probably right.
Spring training, yep. And I think I feel good about my over under on wins at this point too.
What was it, 60?
Oh no, I wanted to say like 74 or something.
Yeah,
I think
you're probably pretty safe on that. I know Brian and I were pretty high on that, and I can't remember where Kitty was, but I'm pretty sure it was also in the basement with you.
I'd say
we don't need to revisit those.
We were probably in the same
Ballpark, yeah.
ballpark because we're always low on the Royals.
A lot of season left.
Super, yeah. Don't let them get hot in August and September. That's the MO here.
That's what they do.
Yeah. Well, with that, I mean, that's a perfect transition to get into the clearing the waivers here. So let's go ahead and do that.
We're clearing the waivers.
Like we talked about, we haven't been in your ears or in your eyeballs for the last couple of weeks. Had a good vacation ourselves, and well, the wheels fell off of the Royals wagon. It's been tough to watch. We did catch a lot of games while we were on vacation. We vacationed together, so there's plenty of commentary and notes that we took in the meantime. But it has been brutal, to say the least. So we've kind of got one takeaway from each of us that we've kind of gone over the last 2 weeks to kind of go over tonight. And Rance, since your triumphant return has blessed us this week, why don't you lead us off in the what's your main takeaway from the last 2 weeks of Royals baseball?
I think my main takeaway, and it's not just in 2 weeks, I mean, it's been over the past month, I think, is the starting rotation to me. I mean, I was looking at a lot of the numbers today, and as bad as the Royals offense has been at times, after you look at the stats, I mean, they rank in the teens, low 20s in a lot of categories. So it's not great, but it's not horrible. I mean, they're in the top 10 in average. I mean, their offense, I feel like, is a lot better than what their rotation has been. And when I look at that rotation, I see, they're bottom 3 in the league in strikeouts. They're top 3 in the league in base on balls. They're top 5 in the league in ERA. Their starters are allowing a ton of hits. Like I looked today, Brad Keller had pitched 76 innings and has allowed over 100 hits, and that's before his start today.
Walks have been a huge issue for the entire entire staff.
The walks have been a huge issue. I feel just like the regression of some of the starters. Keller is nearing an ERA of almost 7.
7, yeah.
Singer's climbing up to being close to 5. He's after I looked at him, he wasn't as bad as I thought. Maybe, his numbers are really not that far off than what they've been for his short career.
Yeah.
But, and I was talking to Brian today, the fact that, Jacob Junis, you can't tell me that guy can't pitch in this rotation at all with how bad they are. And I know he's not been good. I mean, he's not a great starting pitcher, but he's 29 and 34 in his career. You know, that's Brad Keller's only 27 and 31 in their careers. Their ERAs are very similar. I just feel like some of these guys that you're really banking on knew that you're going to take a step up. You know, you talk about Keller and Singer being, you know, your top two guys are, you know, at least 1 and 3 if you throw Duffy in the mix.
Yep.
And they just, man, it's hard to watch. I mean, like I said, it's hard to watch. I turned that first few innings on just tonight and just thought, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's not like they, like you said, were just pounding the ball against Keller, but it just, he hits the very first guy for the 3rd time this year. I mean, that's hard to even fathom.
First pitch of the game.
First pitch of the game, he's done it 3 times. I mean,
That's wild.
That's probably historic. I mean, who even knows? You know, so my take is just the starting rotation and the problems that they've had. I mean, they're going to the bullpen guys in the 4th and 5th inning. These guys can't even give them 4 innings a lot of times.
I mentioned this in the chat, and Brian kind of gave me a little pushback. Is like this. Brian and I have kind of been clamoring for this a little bit. The pitching by committee type of thing, where it's way more openers and bulk, and kind of the new flexible staff in general. And it helps that you can't field 5 or 6 people in the rotation that'll give you 5 innings a night. It's always 3 to 4 here and there.
I know.
But it's interesting to get the creativity, and it's fine to kind of see the experiment. But at the same time, you kind of hope that some of these guys figure it out sooner rather than later.
And they're also, you know, kind of the last take I have. I mean, they've given up a ton of bombs.
Yeah.
I mean, they're nearing almost 100 home runs given up already. I mean, today, I don't know what the Red Sox, if they've hit any tonight, but I mean, Royals have given up 95 home runs this year, and that's in the top 4, I believe, in homers given up for staff.
That's the whole staff. Okay, I didn't know if we were talking about starters still or not.
No, that was
really high for starters.
That was everybody. No, not just starters. That was them as a whole, you know, pitching staff. So.
And I mean, we were kind of banking on getting Danny Duffy back because he had been so good at the beginning of the year, and they decided to not let him rehab in minors. They decided to get him up there and start doing his rehab assignment in the majors, which if that doesn't scream we're trying to trade Danny Duffy, I don't know.
Oh, come on.
I mean, why would they do that? Why would they do that?
Because they need all hands on deck right now.
They have plenty of arms. They could throw Jake Junis back in there and get Danny Duffy right if they were really that worried about it.
I love the move, and I don't think it's at all it has to do with trading him away.
Okay.
I'm all about not wasting.
I heard the Pods could be in on Duffy.
That was prior to last night.
That's before he got blown up.
He got blown up. Yep.
No, I mean, I just like, you know, not wasting live bullets in the minors. That's what I've talked about many times. And when you've got a guy like Danny Duffy, where coming into this year, we talked about starter, bullpen, where's he want to be. And so working him back up with these 2 or 3 innings at a time right now, I mean, it has value to this team more than I want to see some of those young guys get beat around again. I'm not ready to see that again. So I wanted Danny Duffy back in my life. And if it's only 40 pitches and then it's 50 pitches and 6 working back up, I'm all for it. And shut up about trading him.
I'm just trying to read some tea leaves. Looks like there's some scribbling on the wall. I'm trying to figure out if those are letters or what's going on. I'm not wanting to trade Danny Duffy. I don't know how much he's going to bring back in a trade anyways. But
and as someone pointed out the other day, he now has 10-5 rights, so he can veto, has to approve any trade to any team. So Mr. Barrymere Royal needs to stay in the blue and the white.
I'm fine with
but he's in the last year of his deal. I mean, do you think they're going to bring him back?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. I think they
you
can trade
both
him
think
and
that they'll bring him back?
Yes.
I think they'll bring him back as a bullpen guy.
Yep.
Huh.
And he's got some weird quotes through the years of saying he actually loved pitching out of the bullpen, and I think he'd be open to that especially if in the back half of this year the guys like Lynch and Coar and stuff come up and prove that they can get guys out and not show us what they already showed us before. If those guys claim their spots in the rotation, you've got Minor coming back for another year. Hopefully Keller gets it together. I mean, you've got a bunch of guys that are candidates to be in that rotation. So I think you could talk him into being a bullpen guy.
Yep. And at that
A lot
point,
of what ifs there.
he can be the mentor role and also provide value on the mound. And we can start shipping off guys like Urban Santana and Wade Davis and Greg Holland. They can be done. We can be done with that. And we can put that in the rearview mirror. And Danny Duffy can be the mentor. That's the guy who's been in the rotation and a bullpen and mentor these cats.
I love it.
Just do it. I'm into it.
Yeah. Sounds
All
great.
right, then. Sounds good.
Settled.
Brian, what is your main takeaway from the last 2 weeks of pathetic baseball?
Oh man, to me, losing Andrew Benintendi was brutal to this team, and because it set off a chain reaction of events that are just tough to watch. Because when you take him out, he's pretty much by definition an average left fielder. Maybe can be a little above average, but I think on the year he had -1 defensive run saved, so he's right there at the average. And then once he goes down,
whatever you want to look at it.
yeah, once he goes down, Dozier's got to go play left field most days, and it's clear that he's not comfortable out there. I think that's something he could get comfortable with eventually, but he's just not comfortable out there. That he had that embarrassing, screw up the other night where the ball got behind him, and but after you watch him and Jorge Soler chase balls around the outfield, they're not doing this pitching any favors by having those guys hurt them at the plate and in the field. So those guys, you're forcing those guys into the play in the outfield positions they're just not comfortable playing right now. And on top of the fact that you're taking his bat out, and his bat was one of the more consistent things we had going for us. And when you look back at the common theme at the plate, at least we talked about struggles starting pitching at the plate, runners in scoring position. We can't not buy a hit. And he seemed like he was one of the few guys before he got hurt that was coming up clutch and hitting those guys in. So I just think it was, it hurt extra bad losing him. Like I said, that chain reaction is just tough, and it's hard. I just feel so bad for those pitchers when I see balls hit out to right field and they have no chance of being caught.
Like where most guys catch those hits, probably 85% of the right fielders in the league catch all the stuff that Soler drops and misses and never gets near. So that's brutal for those guys.
We talk about defensive runs saved. Soler's played about half the innings the Benintendi has in the outfield, and he is a -7 defensive runs saved. Hunter Dozier's a -4 in the outfield this year in about the same amount of
I was looking at Dozier's WAR. Do you guys want to know what that is?
Not really.
It's got to be negative.
I just thought it was.
I guess -8.
This wasn't good. I mean, it was in their minuses. It was minus like 2.4.
He's had a couple of hard hit balls tonight.
Not very good.
Not too good. To your point, Brian, Benintendi, runners in scoring position in 292 with a 368 OBP, OPS of 827. So yeah, definitely something to what you're saying there. Could use a good dose of Andrew Benintendi in his lineup for sure. And
when you lose a guy like that, we talked about coming into the year being excited about the depth of this lineup. And when you have Dozier and Soler giving you nothing and you lose your number 2 hitter, that lineup is extremely short these days when those guys aren't hitting. It seems like once you get past Salvi, it's pretty much just close your eyes and pray.
And even lately, I think I saw Salvi has 1 for his last 26 or something like that.
I think ever since he got concussion, he's not been hitting very well.
Not great. So really, that leaves you with the top 3 hitters, and now Jorge Soler is now in that top 3, which is an interesting move too. Yep. Well, yeah. I understand the logic behind it, and I kind of get behind it, but that's usually where you put Mondesi to protect him. So I mean, why not try to get Soler in there to see more fastballs? And when he did it, he hit the ball the opposite direction every time up last night. Yep. So. It was interesting to read the quotes from Matheny talking about we're putting you in the 2-hole and we're not asking you to be a cleanup hitter in that spot. You need to take your approach a whole differently in that 2 spot. And I don't know, when you're out of answers, you just pretty much try anything. Just get us to that trade deadline, baby. It sure seems like we're grasping at straws here as an organization. They're doing a little bit of the throw something against the wall and see what sticks for the last remaining of the season here. Kitty, what's your takeaway from the last 2 weeks?
I mean, this is pretty much, I think, the point where the casual fan has stepped away. I've got to think lot of good seats at the K the rest of the year is my takeaway from these last 2 weeks. A lot of good seats remaining, folks. Come on, get them while they're hot. Get the tickets. It's just, as we've mentioned, like, where's the help coming from on this team now where they're 33-44 going into tonight? Like, where is the help? Like, there's just doesn't seem like there's anything on the horizon, because we've seen the two young pitchers that we're supposed to, we're hoping that we're going to come in and add some depth to the rotation. Kowar and Lynch just looked horrendous when they pitched in the rotation. So who's next? Who's the next arm out there that's going to possibly help this rotation solidify itself? And so it's just hard to have a whole lot of faith in the rest of this season doing anything but bottoming out, for me at least. And so it's tough to be a fan right now.
Yeah.
Hoping for better things from the guys when they come up the next time that did have that first taste of the bigs and left a real sour taste, I got to think. So hopefully we can turn things around, but it's hard to root for these guys right now. And especially when it's like Keller hitting the first batter of the game 3 times. Like what, come on. What the hell are you doing?
At that point, you're kind of hoping for something historic and be like, damn. Wow.
Every start, he hit the first batter 7 starts in a row.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Send a message.
Let's go for some records.
Get a Guinness World Record guy in there to verify the record. I'm into it. That more or less bleeds into mine as well. I think I've officially given up on this season. Finally, I think I was the last man on the boat.
Can't believe you'd ever say anything like that.
Old lollipops and rainbows guy is officially thinking that this year is probably not the Royals' year. I was the last man on the boat. I was the captain of the Titanic, watching it go down from the what do you call it? The steering wheel? What do you call that? Anybody? Nobody's got.
I'm not the sailor you make me out to be, Josh. So I don't know.
It's certainly not the steering wheel.
I've never driven a boat, so I wouldn't have any idea.
It is a wheel.
It is a wheel.
Some sort of
steer.
We'll call it the captain's wheel.
Captain's. Yeah. I'm in the captain's chair of that ship that's sinking, and I officially got into a lifeboat and got out of there. So
I don't think I want you to be my captain if you don't know what it's called.
That's fine. Yeah. I'm not here trying to. I'm the violin players as the sinking ship is going down. I'm trying to build morale here. But yeah, I thought that I kind of said it was probably about a month ago at this point, but right before they went on that West Coast trip to go to the A's and the Angels, I thought that those West Coast trips are always where the season kind of the true tests of the season is kind of out there. And they went 7 of 8 losing to the A's and Angels in that series. Then they went to Detroit, got swept, and pulled the tail at that point. Looked like they were kind of rebounding a little bit. Took 2 or 3 of Boston after that, and then the bottom dropped out in that second game against the Yankees, where it was like they took the lead in the 8th, and they lost the lead in the 8th, and then they took the lead in the 9th, and they lost the lead in the 9th. I think that just absolutely wipes out any momentum that they had going between the coaches, the organization, and especially the fans. I think we all that's one of those losses where everybody kind of takes it as a kick in the nuts, and it's really hard to rebound at that. So they went in and then got swept by the lowly 30-48 Rangers, and that's when I pulled the plug. That's when I called it off. It's
over
at that point. But I mean, I legitimately tried to go looking for some kind of silver lining in what they've done the last 2 weeks. Nicky Lopez, Whit Merrifield, and Carlos Santana, Scott Barlow, and that's the end of the list. Brady Singer's been all right, but he can't get far into games like we kind of mentioned before. But there's just so many bad things and tough things to watch about this team right now. It's like Kitty said, the casual fan is 100% logged off Twitter. They're done with their hot takes they've given them. They're gone. They're out in the ether, and they're done. They're no longer logging into their VPNs to watch their stupid Royals play.
No longer complaining about not being able to watch Royals games every day.
They could care less now.
They're checking out Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Chiefs training camp. They have moved on.
Well, they got still a month left to go, or 2 months for that.
So they're doing the workouts, all the
Yep.
involuntary workouts that all these
They're
NFL
breaking
teams like
down
to have.
the film of the Tyreek Hill versus Tyrann Mathieu basketball game from the
That's
from
right.
the weekend. We're hoping ligaments stay intact and nobody gets hurt, and watching some sweet dunkage. But yeah, last couple weeks has not been fun as Royals fans, and to kind of shake things up, and it kind of, like we mentioned, they're kind of throwing stuff against the wall, and that included a few roster moves, if you will. We saw Ryan O'Hearn get called up after his scorching hot ride in Omaha. The assignment down there, he really lit it up, so he brought it back. Still, he's hitting pretty well. He just hit
Hit a bomb tonight.
To take the lead at 6-5 currently. I think it's hitting 300 as well since he's been up too. So maybe I'll eat some words there. Maybe I'll eat some crow. I'm not a big fan of that move, but it sure did get made. So that is something. But the big one is Emmanuel Rivera. I say big one. Emmanuel Rivera, that literally nobody is probably heard of at this point. Before he got called up, was brought up for Kelvin Gutierrez, who was DFA'd. He was out of options, so he is now eligible to be picked up by other teams that think they might want him playing third base for them for some reason. There was also today, Richard Lovelady was called back up, and Wade Davis was placed on the IL with a kitty special injury.
Yeah, sure is injured. Sure thing.
They're calling it a right forearm strain. He's probably injured. We'll see. Robots can't lie. They can't show emotion. They can't lie.
They can get injured though, I guess.
They can get injured. I mean, every robot can need a little maintenance every now and then. So especially
a little tune up,
especially
right.
Robots that might be past their prime, a little outdated. But the moral of the story is the Royals, Dayton Moore is churning that roster. He was talking about becoming more transactional coming into this year, and it seems to be, things are kind of going south. Maybe he's putting up the white flag and surrendering a little bit here, but he's trying to figure out, who's going to be around long term. What are those options going to look like? What can we expect from them? So he's kind of just figuring out who's got what can they do, who's going to bring value to the table at this point. So Brian, where are you at on these transactions at this point? What's your read on them, and what are you expecting from any of these moves?
I'm just glad they're trying something, because I mean, all four of us are kind of sick and tired of what they've been showing us lately. So like you said, churn it as much as you can. Rivera was one of the hottest hitters in our system this year. I think he had 14 homers in the minor leagues. Mm-hmm. And so when you look at what Gutierrez has done in the major league level, and it's just been absolutely pathetic, and it's just not getting it done when your lineup is as short as it has been. You can't have that many holes in your lineup, and when we already know we can't get rid of Dozier or Soler at this point. So we got to add some hot bats, and O'Hearn gets the call up because his bat was hot, and same way here with Rivera. So I like making moves, try to make something happen, create some kind of energy to this lineup. They talk about Rivera being very good defensively, so I'm looking forward to seeing that, even though he left the game in the first at bat tonight with a left wrist injury. So his stay might be short-lived for a while. But,
he gone.
Lovelady's a guy that the internet's been calling for years now, and for whatever reason that just hasn't panned out. He hasn't got the chance that everyone thinks he deserves. So we'll see. Let's hope it goes a little better this time. But I mean, everyone's talked about for years that Lovelady's got great stuff. So let's see. Let's put it in action. I think he'd only pitched like 8 innings or something, and so far this year. So it's been a very small sample size because he came into the year hurt. But I'm excited to see another arm in the bullpen, because I told you earlier, I know Wade Davis was the move, but I get the opposite of excited when I see Swarzak coming into the game. That's like white flag. We picked a guy off, the dump.
The scrap heap.
Yeah. That's like the Vin Mazzaro, get in there and get blown up, but you're not coming out.
You're giving us 5 innings, Vin. I'm getting shelled. You're giving us 5 innings.
I don't care if it's 11 runs. You're staying out there. Exactly.
I kind of want to hamper expectations a little bit, because Emmanuel Rivera, he had a 930 OPS in 44 games in AAA, had a really good spring training, had 293, hit 293 with 1 dinger and a 29.2% K rate, and a decent competition. And I think BREF has that opposite quality opponent score. he had one of the highest ones at 8.4, and I think that's usually around a AAA level.
Had a great year winter ball too, didn't he?
Had a great winter. Yeah. I mean, that's all. It was so did Kelvin Gutierrez. I mean,
yeah,
it is what
true.
it is at that point. But
fair.
I want to hamper the expectations about Rivera. Yes, I'm very excited that he's up. I love seeing some young guys getting their major league debuts. I love seeing guys that look like young Nelson Cruz's out there. I'm very excited about that. But I want everybody to just pump the brakes on it. Anybody who's still watching, I guess at this point, hamper your expectations and just give him some time to figure out what he is, because Kelvin Gutierrez kind of hit the ground running. He started out pretty hot, hitting 300. His peripherals didn't really quite check out to live up to that 300 average, and everybody thought that Kelvin Gutierrez was the next best thing, because Hunter Dozier was just absolute garbage at the plate at that point. So I don't think we can expect anything like that from Emmanuel Rivera, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope that he sticks, and I hope that he becomes part of the future, but I just don't see that coming. The Love Lady might have a little bit more of a chance. He had really, really good minor league resume up to this point, still holding a 7.71 ERA in the majors in his 21 innings pitched. So it's we'll have to see. He has good spin rates. He's got good stuff. We'll see how it plays and see what his time with the Royals looks like at this point. But both of these moves kind of seem inevitable to me.
Yep.
I didn't think Kelvin Gutierrez was long for this roster. Didn't think Wade Davis was long for this roster. We'll have to see what's on the other side of that right forearm strain. But I don't think either of these guys are a foundational components of the next contention window. Time to see what these other guys have, and they might be a slight improvement, a la Ryan O'Hearn, but we'll kind of have to see how that goes. But just pump the brakes on these guys, let them play, let them see what they got, get their feet planted, and see where they fit into the future. Here's my main point here. But like Brian said, glad they're trying something. It's it's good to see the management's trying something.
It's much better to just try new players, young guys in this situation where the Royals basically are done for the year as far as contending. So you need to get these guys as many at bats as you can at the top level, just to get a glimpse of what they have and what they can do.
Yep. And I think that's only inevitable. We'll see Jackson Kowar back up. We'll see Daniel Lynch back up. Might see some Nick Prado by the end of the year. Maybe some Bobby Wood Jr. if we get there.
God, please.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Let's get into the next part here. We're not in Shenanigans yet, but we got Ball Street for you. And there was a few hot seats going on in Kauffman Stadium here, and that's what we kind of wanted to address with Ball Street. So here we go.
Ball Street.
So the name of the game is you're basically treating these takes as stocks that you would buy and sell and trade on the market. This is the team personnel edition of Ball Street. Basically, we're going to buy or sell or hold the stock in these guys being around for the 2022 season. And we're each going to give our little take on this here, starting with Cal Eldred. Has recently come under fire. He was hired in 2018 as the Royals pitching coach. He's been the main target. Kind of as Rance was talking about, the starters and just the pitching staff as a whole has come under fire with how badly they've performed and how poorly they've been out there. So he's been the ire of a lot of fans' anger. So we're going to buy and sell or hold the stock that Cal Eldred is here for the 2022 season. Kitty, I'm going to start with you. Are you buying, holding, or selling that stock?
I'm selling. God, he cannot be around next year. This guy's an absolute trash bag as a pitching coach. I mean, knowing not one pitcher is better than they were previously in the previous year. I mean, maybe Duffy had the great start this year, but don't think Cal Eldred's doing a whole lot with Duffy at this point in Duffy's 10-year career. I don't think he's had a whole lot of influence, but you get like Brad Keller this year. Hey, Cal Eldred, what are you doing? Something's wrong.
No.
I mean, what are they doing? Obviously, nothing, because it gets beat up again tonight. So it was, 2018, the Royals pitching staff in the AL, 11th runs allowed per game. 2019, 10th runs allowed per game. 2020, huge improvement, 7th. I love that 60-game schedule. And this year, they're back down to 12th in runs allowed per game in the AL. So there's
this is all AL rankage.
Just AL. Just AL.
Like,
yeah,
that's
sorry.
not bad. That's
I don't like to mix NL and AL when doing team stats.
Yeah.
Because they got one stupid league still has a pitcher hitting like a bunch of dummies.
Yeah.
And so they're
True.
bottom third every year in pitching with this guy at the helm, and he has no reason to be on this coaching staff anymore.
Okay. Kitty
Get him
selling.
out.
Brian, what are you doing?
I would sell personally if it was me making the decision. I think they do need to make a move because I think this is a hugely important time for this franchise when you've got all this young pitching, and if you keep going down the wrong road, it can really add up in a hurry, and it looks like it's headed that direction. But I'm gonna actually buy this stock of him being around next year because I think this front office is just too loyal to their coaches. Half the time they stick with guys way too long. And they just have like this family mentality of we're not going to point fingers at each other, but we just got to get better, you know? And I just don't see the front office moving on from him. I would do it personally, like I said, but I don't see it happening.
The only example I would have of that is the last one, Dave Island. Like they kind of dropped the bomb on him pretty out of the blue, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
Their pitchers were not great. But I mean, Cal Eldred seems to most definitely be way worse of a track record than Island was when he had that firing. So.
And I mean, as fans, especially, all we can do is look at the performances and say, you know, all the pitching staff stinks. What do we attribute that to? We go to him, but especially with pitchers, there's a huge factor in every one of these guys in the offseason works with their own individual pitching coaches. And then he just checks in with them on what they're doing, and he approves of whatever he does. But he's not spending every day with these pitchers, you know, tweaking their mechanics and everything in the off season. So it's hard to say how much is on him. But when you look at the numbers, it's hard to say. You know, somebody's got to pay for these numbers because it can't keep continuing like this.
When it's staff wide, it's hard to not see the common denominator there. Rance, are you buying, selling, or holding this stock?
I'm selling too. I mean, like I said, I've already read off a bunch of numbers. Like you're not seeing a lot of improvement. I mean, I think you've seen enough out of this guy over the past 3 years. If you're not seeing the improvement, they brought up a couple of the young guys, and I know they're young. I mean, he probably had not much time to work with them, but you're already concerned about struggles there. I mean, they don't get ahead in counts. They walk guys constantly, leaving too many balls in the middle of the plate with the home runs that they're allowing. I just think it's time for a fresh take. I mean, I don't even think they need to let him finish the year.
Oh, let's go.
Can him here about after the All-Star break.
About
get
tomorrow.
Somebody in there with a fresh take and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm into that. Brian, I understand what you're saying, and that is my only hesitation to sell this stock, but I'm selling too. Since his hire in 2018, the Royals pitchers have had the third highest xFIP, fourth worst ERA, and the worst whip of all major league teams. The worst whip.
Yeah,
that's not good.
I went through and looked at all the players who had spent multiple seasons with the Royals starting in 2018 and 2021. There's about 26 players that have actually fit that criteria. And Kitty, contrary to what you're saying, I think about 18 of them either got better or stayed about as useless or as they were. They didn't get worse under Cal Eldred, but they didn't necessarily mean they were usable pitchers at that point. So only 8. You see like 8 of them may have gotten better. Not bad. Cool. Well, 3 of them are Keller, Singer, and Bubic. And if you're talking about developing these young pitchers, you cannot have a pitcher or a coach that struggles to develop pitchers. You got to have someone in there that knows what they're doing when they're handling young pitchers like that. Rex Hudler will say it until he's blue in the face that Cal Eldred's done both, you know, pitching or relieving and starting, and he's been really good and he's been really bad, and that's why it's so valuable. No, it's clearly not the case here. So I'm very much into selling this. Maybe it's a bit unfair because it's, you know, just one metric of like I think my little exercise was based off of WOBA, and there's so many underlying factors that go into, you know, why a pitcher is being good or bad on the field. But it's just like we said, it comes down to one common denominator, And that's kind of why the flames are rising under his seat. So I'm selling that too. But like Brian said, I could totally see them being loyal to him and, keep him around for another year to give him another shot. So similarly to some kind of a specialty coach, we're going with Terry Bradshaw with this next one. 2022 stock of him being around, buying, selling, or holding. I'll start us off here. I'm going to buy that he will be around in 2022. He also started in 2018. Since his hire, they're the 5th worst in WRC plus. They're 3rd worst in OPS and 3rd worst in WOBA. So not very good either. That could be just as bad, but doesn't seem like there's many people that came in. I don't know. It's just a weird sample size because a lot of these guys were also really bad. He didn't have much to work with as far as development goes. I don't think there's a lot of quadruple A players that kind of hit their ceiling when they, get past Omaha at that point. There's not much to ring out and unlock. But I mean, Witt, Soler, Salvi, Mondesi, I would all call have gotten better under Terry Bradshaw, whether that's credited to Bradshaw or those guys individually or Mike Tosar. There's plenty of guys that could be credited with their success, but I just don't see a lot of guys that got a lot worse in that time. So I'm going to go ahead and buy that Terry Bradshaw is going to be around for that 2022 season, in my opinion. Rance, what are you doing with this stock?
I'd say buy as well. I don't think he's done quite enough for them to can him yet. He's not done. He's not bad enough yet. They got to get a little bit worse before he can get fired. So I'd say he'd be around. And like you said, I think there's some guys that have done some good things. Benintendi seemed like he was on the way up, and I know they probably haven't worked together a lot, but he maybe contributed that. I know, Mondesi's only played 10 games, but he's looked pretty good at the plate when he's played in those 10 games. And Salvi,
I forgot about
Nicky Lopez has improved at the plate a little bit, and I think Salvi at this point in his career, he's hitting his ball as good as he ever has. So, I think he'll be there for sure next year.
Okay. Kitty?
I'm selling this guy too. He's partner in crime with Cal Eldred, stealing money from the Royals. That's all these guys are doing. That is all they are doing. Just cashing that check, and they can't wait to just get finally fired so they can go off, hang out on a beach for a whole freaking year from all the money they took off the Royals.
It's just one big heist from those two. Yeah,
no, it's just they're gonna make a movie out of it. It'll be Ocean's 14 with these two knuckleheads.
Okay.
I mean, Dozier might be the worst hitter in baseball over the last 2 years.
I think Soler is. I think that's.
Or Soler. I mean, he had
and then Dozier
tandem. And Dozier had a great 2019, but these last year obviously with little injury issues, but this year, he can't do anything. He hits one ball for a hit to the right side of center field, or right side of second base. He was still a center fielder. I think still picked the ball up after the hit. So he's terrible. I don't know if that's Terry Bradshaw or Dozier might just be a bad hitter. Just don't really know for sure at this point. It's got to be something. Like, the reason they're probably scoring a little better runs this year than they have in the past is because Carlos Santana came in.
Yeah.
So
that's probably helped.
Hard to deny him and Benintendi's impact on this lineup.
Yeah, sure. And it's hard to lay a lot of blame for me at the hitting coaches of the major league level.
Sure.
Because I feel like a lot of these guys, once they get to the majors, they are who they are. You're not going to do a whole lot differently than what you did when you made it to the bigs. So I'm not sure how much influence a hitting coach really has, but that might just be another one where you need a fresh face in that position, just to maybe he can spark something in some of these guys that aren't playing well.
Yep. That's fair. Brian, I can tell your blood's boiling by all the shit that Kitty just talked on Hunter Dozier. What's your take here? Are you buying, selling, or holding this stock?
I'm buying, and only just because outside of Kitty just now, I haven't heard a peep of anybody calling for his job. I've never heard, players having a problem with him. So I think there at least has to be some rumblings of that before they actually hear it in the front office and say, maybe we should move on. So I think just for the fact that nobody's talking about it, it would shock me if he wasn't hitting coach next year.
Yeah. It's, I have seen it, but it almost feels like, the gang has found the culprit, and they're currently beating up on Cal Edward, who's in the fetal position, just still getting kicked. And then the guy in the back's like, "Who can I kick?" Terry Bradshaw, you're up. What about Terry Bradshaw? Let's get him. I have seen some of those takes on social media for sure, but yeah, the kindling is being gathered. It hasn't quite been on fire yet, I think, at this point. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on that. I'll keep an eye on that. And finally, the big guy, Mr. GM Dayton Moore, buying, selling, or holding the stock of him being around for the 2020 season. Rance, I'm going to lead off with you this time. Where are you at in Dayton Moore?
I buy that. I'm buying that he's going to be there. I mean, the only way he's not going to be there is if he just makes up his own mind that he just wants to be done, right? I mean, they're not going to send him packing. I mean, for God's sakes, the guy got him, helped get him to 2 World Series. I think he can have that job for a very long time, unless the new ownership just wants to be. I don't know. I can't see him leaving unless he just wants to move on to something else, but it's his own choice.
Yeah.
I mean,
and we've seen that
he'll, yeah. I mean, it can happen, and but the guy's proved that he can build a winner before. I mean, I know we've talked about, and they're banking on these young arms, but I mean, there is some promise, down in the lower levels. So I think he'd want to see that through, and at least be around for the next few years. So,
and yeah, I'll say that for my point. Kitty, where are you at on Dayton Moore?
Yeah, I'm buying as well.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to buy that as well.
Oh, okay.
He made some. I think the Benintendi and Carlos Santana moves were really good this offseason. I mean, felt like a lot of fans were discussing, and once he made the Michael A. Taylor move, which not the best, but not the worst, I guess.
Hey, 2 dingers in the last 2 games. Look out.
Once he made the Michael A. Taylor and Benintendi moves, everyone kind of thought, all right, offense is done. This doesn't look great. And then they made the splash with Santana after those moves, and hey, there we go. Legit major league hitter in the lineup at first base. So that, like that. And then, all these pitching that were kind of just on a holding pattern, waiting for these guys to make it up. And that was kind of the focus of the draft for the last few drafts, has been close as ready to the major league arms as possible. Just stockpile them, and hopefully the offense is in a spot where they can help the arms when they do finally make it up to the majors. So I think there's no reason that he's going to be anywhere else but as the Royals GM in 2022.
Yep. It does seem like there's a little bit more haste to his actions anymore. I think that's fair. Brian, what are you doing?
I'm big time buying here. And I think it's absolute insanity when I read these people talking shit about Dayton Moore online and on radio waves and stuff. And they're acting like he can't, assess talent, and we always overvalue our own prospects. And it's like, look around at every scouting site out there. They all believe that these top pitchers are going to be very good major leaguers. This is not Dayton Moore's is the only one telling us these guys are going to be good players. And like Rand said, he takes us to back-to-back World Series, and then everyone says, well, we completely diminished the farm system, and there's nothing in the tank after these guys left, and it's going to be 10 years before we build this thing back up. And a fair criticism of him early in his tenure here was he couldn't draft very well. And I feel like he's really fixed that, whether they've just been pure luck or whatever. But the last few drafts, I think, have been great drafts. And, like I said, the scouting services are all on board. I haven't seen anybody that says these guys are frauds. So I think they'll eventually figure it out if they can find a good pitching coach that can get their approaches fixed. But I think it's absolute insanity to think that Dayton Moore is part of this problem, or that he can't properly assess talent. I mean, like Kitty said, with Michael A. Taylor thing, we all kind of poo-pooed it at the beginning because we didn't believe he's ever going to become a hitter. And he's really been what we kind of all expected. He's been probably exactly what Dayton Moore expected. He's going to give you a little bit at the plate, but not much. And he's going to play really good defensive center field. And I looked it up earlier, and he's number 1 center fielder in baseball, defensive runs saved. So he's doing what you paid him, like $1 million to come do.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Those shag fly balls in the outfield and bat 8 and 9 and get us an occasional pop. and do your job. And like you said, almost every other free agent signing has hit this season. Mike Minor's been a disappointment, but I still think there's time there for him to salvage his value there. But I mean, I just don't know how you can look at this team when they lose the most important position player that they have on this team for a majority of the year. He gives you that tease in those 10 games he actually plays. He just crushes the ball. I mean, this team looks so much different when they have Mondesi playing shortstop and they have Benintendi playing left field. It's such a different team, and you couldn't have seen this Soler and Dozier thing coming. I mean, people kind of skeptical of Dozier's really good year in 2019, if that was the real him or if he was just not that good of a hitter. But I don't think anybody saw this kind of year coming, and he could still salvage it to be somewhat decent. But God, it's been so bad. And I don't know how you can really pin that on him. Yeah. So I'm big time buying Dayton Moore. I'm a huge Dayton Moore guy. I back him up because I got to watch my team in the World Series back-to-back years. He can do whatever he wants, in my opinion.
Undeniable. Yep, that is undeniable. I'm buying too, but just to kind of go back to what Brian said, before anybody tries to crush us for the Hunter Dozier extension, it was still only $25 million. Brian and I talked about this. Relatively, that's somewhat cheap. I mean, it was a good gamble for them to make at this point. He had upside. That was clear.
Still does.
He still does, and he could still service some of that value. But Kitty, what did you say? He was making $2.5 million this year, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, his contract's really not that terrible, even if he doesn't turn around. So I'm not. Right. That's not that big of a issue.
Yeah, it doesn't crush your franchise like sometimes.
Yeah. It's not the Mike Sweeney contract.
Exactly.
Or Alex Gordon's multiple re-ups. So yeah, I do think that he's earned at least a few more seasons to kind of see what this class or what this prospect wave has. He's going to potentially add to it here in the draft until in 2021 in a few weeks. I was on the B to KC, shout out B to KC podcast. Had me on their episode a few weeks ago. We talked a little bit about the draft, and Brian, you kind of mentioned about the pitching, and they've been very college pitcher, get them ready, get them now, get them up as soon as we can type of thing. And I'm going to be kind of interested to see how the board kind of falls to them at number 7 in this draft, and kind of see where their head's at. Are they going to do like the best player available type of thing, like usual? Are they going to do some slot shenanigans that they've done with like the Dozier and Mania year, or are they going to go keep going college? Give me college, ready now, ready in a season and a half type of thing. We'll have to see how that kind of. I think that's going to be pretty telling about where Dayton Moore is, where his head's at, and kind of add to the case of he's trying to get things done right now or in a season or two. It's going to be time to go. So everybody's buying Dayton Moore. He's going to be here next season. It's been solved.
Shut up if you think otherwise. I'm tired of hearing it.
There you go. On that note, we're going to get to Shenanigans. We got Shenanigans on the way. Like I said, some OG docketed Shenanigans that we're going to go through here. So we're going to start off with some DFA.
DFA is in the house tonight.
I feel like we needed to wake some people up, so we got a little party rock DFA for you this week. I've got the Shenanigan. I've got the DFA this week. So here we go. We got a multiple answered question here lined up. Each one of these guys are going to take a stab at clearing the board, but each one of them has 3 options to go through before they are DFA'd. So yeah, let's get into it. NBA Conference Championships going on right now. Not a big NBA guy right here, but these 3 fellows are. They very much know what's going on with the NBA. So I looked up the greatest single postseasons in NBA history and the win shares via Pro Basketball Reference. Shout out.
What does that even mean?
It's basically WAR, basically wins above replacement.
Oh boy.
So I've got 12 different players that are not named LeBron James or Michael Jordan. The greatest single postseasons in NBA history. And it's not, I say NBA history, it's not going to be that hard. There are 12 names here that are very recognizable. So It seems hard, but it's really, really not, I don't think. And that's it coming from a non-baseball or non-basketball guy. So
12 guys.
What an outrageous.
Single postseasons.
This is all history.
Yep.
In history of the NBA.
Yep.
Good
heck.
God.
You guys are basketball guys. This is gonna be fine.
But shit, man.
You're gonna be fine. This is gonna be fine.
gonna be fine.
I'll give you a hint right off the bat. There's
Nice.
only one person that is pre 1984.
Okay.
Okay. 12 names. I'm going to go Rance, then Brian, then Kitty as the rotation here. So Rance, why don't you lead off? They are not named LeBron James or Michael Jordan. Who
Okay.
you got?
I'm going to put Steph Curry.
Steph Curry, not on this list. Great start. Great start.
Well, then I'm out. I mean, if I can't get Steph Curry, then who? I mean,
He really is the only basketball player out there, so it's going to be tough. Brian.
How about Larry Bird?
Larry Bird from 1984 had a 4.72 win share, whatever that means.
Rance's guy.
Yeah, that was, I guess, yeah. I already blew it. I'm a little bit disappointed to already have a strike. Jesus Christ.
We're gonna get you in the game here very soon, Rance. I believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me figure out how to do this real quick. There we go. All right.
God.
Brian, one correct answer. Kitty.
I'm gonna go with Shaq.
Shaq 2000 had a 4.67 win share. Very well done. Kitty with a point. Back to Rance.
Magic.
Not on this list. They're great.
Oh no.
Great start from Rance.
Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard that ever lived, did not have one of the best postseasons.
That is
That's
bizarre.
Not according to this stat.
Holy
Brian.
hell. I don't have another name, man.
Let's go. While MJ was gone, Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon.
Not on this list. Nope.
Well, this list is bullshit then.
Yeah, it might be bullshit.
We won't even get 5 answers, Josh.
There are some. I mean, there's some obvious ones here, guys. Obvious ones here.
I'm gonna go to BK's best buddy and Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant on this list, 2009.
Well done.
4.66 win share in his postseason that season. Very well done, Kitty, with 2 points so far. Rance working on elimination.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna say Tim Duncan. I mean,
Tim Duncan, number one answer here, had a 5.94 win share in 2003.
Wow.
Let's go.
The best postseason in history. That includes Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
well,
Impressive.
I'm off the hook then.
Yep. Not
You
shut
got a
out.
point.
Yep.
There you go. Got to feel good.
Back to Brian.
How about Karl Malone?
Not on this list. Nope.
I got to get out of that era.
Yeah, there is one more in that era, I'd say. But yeah, get out of that era. This is a very current stat.
Okay.
Yeah. Kitty.
I'm gonna go back in that era. I don't think I got that. I'm gonna go with the answer, Allen Iverson.
Not on this list. Nope.
What?
I figured that year they made the finals because they was the only guy worth a shit on his team.
The only
He was
dude.
the only
Yep.
guy carrying that roster. Eric Snow.
Eric Snow started on a NBA Finals team. That
Sure
is
did.
Pat Geiger.
Ilgauskas. Geiger was an Ilgauskas type. Back to Rance.
KD.
No, unfortunately, no
Oh
KD on
my
this list.
God.
Wow.
This is unbelievable.
Unfortunately,
This is a horrible list.
This is a checkable list. Go look in Pro Basketball Reference. Anybody wants to check me here, but I feel like
No
once
Steph,
we-
no Magic, no Hakeem the Dream, no Malone, no AI, no KD.
Correct. I mean,
Wow.
I don't know what to
Bullshit
tell you
list.
here. Brian, you're on the verge of elimination as well. What do you got?
I'm afraid to even say a name.
Yeah, I was scared to death too.
It's a minefield out there.
I was
'Cause-
scared to death.
I wonder if this stat takes like defensive stats into account. Because I've been thinking mostly all offense. Because I don't know, just that 1 year went to the finals and it was pretty much all him. How about Dirk Nowitzki?
Nowitzki, 2006. Correct.
That was the next guy I was going to go with.
Brian on the board with 2 points, tied with Kitty right now.
I'm going to try to go pre-84.
Oh,
I'm going to go Wilt Chamberlain.
Not on this list, but I like where your head's at.
Ah, dang it.
It's basically the other pre-1970, 1984. Oh, it's hint time again, too.
okay.
Two strikes for two, and 2 strikes, everybody.
What can I say? We got
Got a lot of names left.
we have
We got 5 guys.
we've got
There's still 7 more.
2 more Lakers. 2 more Lakers. There's one we're talking about like the Michael Jordan and the Magic Johnson era guys. I feel like this is a number 3 guy in that era that should not be overlooked. There is a 2020 guy on this list. There's a 2019 guy on this list.
Abdul-Jabbar's got to be one of them then.
We're on Brian.
I know I'm out. I just want to get back in.
That's
Two Lakers.
There's a team aspect here once Brian's out here.
2 Lakers, you got to think he's one of them because I think we've listed everybody else. Let's go Abdul-Jabbar.
Abdul-Jabbar on this list, 1974, had a 4.69 win share. Still one more Laker out there.
I'm going to go away from the Lakers. I'm going to go
Derek
Isaiah
Fisher.
Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas, not on this list. Nope.
I had him written down too.
Ah, dang it.
So I think Brian has won between the 3 of you, but you still have quite a few names to go. You have 6 names to go.
I was thinking Dwayne Wade.
He was on my. I wrote him down because possibly with that.
Let's just go with Dwayne Wade.
Same year as Dirk, 2006, that awesome NBA Finals they had together.
I have maybe the guy from Jordan era, Reggie Miller, had some great runs.
They ever make the final? I just don't. They didn't make the
They
finals,
probably do need to make the finals to get this.
I would guess just to have enough games in play, possibly.
Isaiah Thomas was the other name I was thinking.
What about Clyde Drexler?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they lost the finals to Jordan.
The Jordan era was in 1993. The Jordan era player.
I don't know who they.
It wasn't Akeem, wasn't Karl Malone. John Stockton probably wouldn't be it.
Charles Barkley.
Ooh. Did he go to the finals?
Against the Bulls. He was on the Suns.
That's as good as any. Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
That's it. Got it.
Okay.
Nice.
Good job, Rance.
4.60 with the Chuck Barkley.
The Chuckster.
Totally redeem yourself.
Totally redeem yourself.
After a god awful performance, maybe the worst ever in the history of this game.
I looked a little better because I got my first 2 right. Then I crashed and burned very quickly.
Yeah, you did. You had the real schneid, if you will. 4 players left. There's a 2019 is still out there. There's 2020 out there. There are 2 guys I don't really expect you guys to get, and there's still a Laker in that mix as well.
Did you say 2020?
Yeah.
In the bubble.
In the bubble? Who?
Who the Lakers beat last year?
It has to be in the final. Jimmy
I would
Butler.
guess.
The Heat.
Jimmy Butler
had a really good playoffs here. Playoffs, yeah. He was basically that team that year.
Was that? Hold up.
Think about the bubble. Who was Dame Lillard?
Bubble.
Yeah. He had a nice playoff, but I don't think it went far enough.
What's this? The Jamal Murray from the Nuggets. They didn't make the finals, but they made the conference finals, and he was
really good. Shit.
But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either, man. Obviously.
Anthony Davis.
That's the 2020. Yep, you got it.
Oh man, nice job.
Great poll.
It was the Laker and 2020.
2 birds, 1 stone. Still the 2019 guy out there. There's a 2005 and a 2009.
That's not going to help me though.
One of those guys has been a Laker too, but did not do it as a Laker.
How about Giannis?
No Giannis.
Okay.
Yep.
Good choice. What about Kawhi Leonard, 2019?
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Also Chauncey Billups in 2005.
Really?
For the Pistons.
Very surprised me.
They
Yeah.
had a good, nice team.
They beat the Lakers probably that year, didn't they?
That was
The All-Star
Ben Wallace
Lakers.
and Rip Hamilton. Yep.
Big
and
Ben
in
Wallace.
2009 was Dwight Howard.
No way.
Yep.
What the?
He's a loser.
Yep. So I win DFA this week, but
Congrats.
Brian,
No
you guys
ways.
did a good run. That was a tough question for sure, especially when Steph Curry's not on the list.
And no one
I'm
knows what
embarrassed.
goes into this.
I'm embarrassed by my performance.
You shouldn't
I-
be. I think those are all very reasonable answers for sure.
Who was
Curry
the
and Magic
pre-1984 guy?
Kareem.
That was the
Oh,
Kareem.
okay. Yeah.
I can't
Very
believe
good.
like Oscar Robertson or whatever's not on this list.
Yep. There was a fair amount of Dame Lillard on. He had a couple of different postseason runs on that, and it seemed like they're always out in the Western Conference semifinals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
That shows how damn good he is in general. Let's get into the waiver wire here. We got a fun summer themed waiver wire. We're ready to get into your earlobes, but first we got to hear that theme song.
Watch your waiver wire.
That one might been a little hot.
Hot.
Might
A little hot.
super hot. But sometimes you just gotta let it go. Crank it to 11. Let's do this here.
Oh man.
Hope you're all awake. But this waiver wire draft is summer themed. Like I mentioned, I wanted to make sure that we had a full roster for this one because our food drafts usually go get pretty hot, pretty contentious. And for summer themed, we wanted to draft our favorite frozen treats. Could mean a lot of different things here. I'm not going to get my draft board is very not cute, very, straight from the gun type of thing. So before you start laying that, take a John me, I don't need to hear it.
We'll see about that.
Since I won DFA just outright, I'm going to get the first pick here. And my first pick is a drumstick. Got
First
a little
pick,
waffle
huh?
cone. First pick. It's delicious, and it doesn't even matter. Like it could be the cheap stuff or the really high end stuff. It's always just the best stuff. So
With the nuts on top.
nuts, little nut on top. Yep.
Thumbs down from this cat.
Really?
I hate nuts in my desserts.
Keep your nuts away from my dessert as well.
And we're off and running. Josh's first overall pick is a thumbs
Drumstick.
down for
I
half
thought
of
that was like a
I mean, I think you had to probably take it 1-1 because I don't think it's getting back to 2-4 for you, but
Sure.
I'm just not a fan of
It might have. I mean, I
more
don't
for
know.
you.
maybe. BK may have taken it from you, but
I had
I will
drumsticks on the
say
list.
since I can't have ice cream, that might be the worst, like the worst part about not being able to eat ice cream and not being able to
Right.
drumstick anymore.
that's tough.
And it's even tougher to hear that half the people in this podcast right now don't like them.
I mean, every time restaurants always put nuts in fucking brownies and crap like that. Like, get it? What are you doing? Why are you ruining perfectly good chocolate? Get out of here.
Yep. I agree.
Wow. I need to rethink my draft board all of a sudden.
Good God.
move
Shuffle
on
it
your-
around.
Move all your
Right.
nuts pick to the end.
Yeah. All my frozen nuts, my bag of frozen pecans from back home are not going to make this draft. Brian, since you were next up on DFA, you're taking the next pick. What do you got?
Yep. When I'm going up to the ice cream truck, ice cream van, this one always draws my eyeballs. So I'm going to take it first. It's called different things, different places, but I'm going to go call it the chocolate eclair bar. It's the chocolate ice cream one that looks like you've dipped it in chocolate Dippin' Dots.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got a little textures
Wow.
in there because it's kind of cakey in the center. So it's kind of
Yep.
almost like an ice
Oh.
cream cake.
Yeah.
So good.
It's a good one.
And it just
Yeah.
draws my eyeballs every time. So it's going to get it.
I have to take that.
I
Nothing
totally
else.
forgot. That was a complete miss on my end.
Not on
That
your
is good
board?
stuff. Not on my board.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think if I go that direction, it's usually the strawberry version.
That's very good as well.
Yeah.
You can still take that one later.
Yep. You can.
Maybe we'll see how the board falls.
The old
Kitty,
shortcake.
the old shortcake.
Yeah.
Kitty, your third pick here. What do you got?
I'm going out to Kauffman Stadium, getting myself a frosty malt. Love that wooden spoon and the frosty malt. That is my number one dessert. I love that thing at the ball game, and I think someone said they found one in one of those smaller supermarket stores. So I need to go pick me up some of those here soon.
They still do the wooden spoon out there. It's just something about that wooden spoon.
That really does enhance the experience.
Yeah.
Not sure why either, but it does.
I don't know either, but
it marinates in that chocolatey stuff. So even when the ice cream's gone, you can still chew on that stick for some chocolatey.
That's right.
You get a little extra chocolate.
Yeah.
Look, jonesing for it. You got to get that hit.
Absolutely. keeps you from withdrawals afterwards. Rance, what's your fourth, and then you're on the turn for the second round.
Well, I'm going to my favorite place, and that's DQ. We like to hit up DQ around here. And they've got this blizzard called the Brownie Batter Blizzard. And it has brownie chunks in it, and and ice, obviously vanilla ice cream, but just little, whatever you mix to mix brownies. I don't know, the dough or whatever that is. And
It's batter.
The batter.
It's literally batter.
Yeah.
Literally batter.
Well, it's delicious. It's rich. It's good. Then, you're eating the batter, and then you get even a little extra surprise when you kind of get a brownie in there on one of those bites. And it's just, it's my favorite blizzard. I love it. I've got multiple blizzards on here, but that's the number one.
That's totally fair.
Just trapped in 4 DQ blizzards. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We could have done that. I'm sure they've got way more than 16 flavors.
I kind of wanted you to just take the DQ blizzard, and then you just own all of the flavors.
Get all of them.
All versions.
That'd be selfish. Greedy.
It'd be hard to hate too much on that view. I will say, critics might say it's too rich.
True. Yep.
It's possible.
It's very
Not
rich.
me, not I.
They're idiots.
Tomatoes critic score of a blizzard of a brownie batter blizzard.
Idiots, assholes, whatever you want to call them. Too rich. Get out of here.
No such thing.
That's what the vanilla ice cream's for.
That's right.
Kind of kills the richness. That's right.
Okay.
What else you got?
Off in second pick. Second
And
round.
my second pick is, I don't know if you guys have ever had one of these, but a Klondike bar. You know what a Klondike bar is, but Klondike has kind of ventured out and started doing some other flavors, and they do a Reese's peanut butter Klondike bar.
Ooh.
Okay. Still
And
like
it's just got it's peanut butter ice cream inside of a Klondike. It's
Sounds
That
delicious.
good.
it's delicious.
It's not like pepperminty.
No, not at all.
Because that would have been a deal breaker.
It's not pepperminty at all.
They do have a really good crunchy shell for it being just like smooth chocolate.
Yep.
It is kind of next level.
Mm-hmm.
That's key.
It's pretty good. I've only had a few of them, but the few that I've had, right up there.
I dig it.
Real good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kitty, back to you.
I'm taking something that's delicious and has a great name. I'm taking the chip burger.
What? Chip burger.
It's like the vanilla ice cream inside 2 chocolate chips.
Okay.
Yep.
2 cookies,
2 chocolate
right?
cookies with the vanilla ice cream in the middle. It's phenomenal.
I've
It's
seen a chip witch.
Chip, which
Yeah.
some people call it. I remember seeing it being called the chip burger. Which
I like that.
I have it number 2 on my board. I didn't know
Yep.
that. That's what you were calling it.
So we used to have them without. I don't really like the chocolate chips on the outside. I could just be fine if it was 2 cookies and just vanilla ice cream in the middle.
You don't want the
No.
extra chips?
I don't think
you
I
need
like the extra
the chocolate chips are necessary, very necessary for me.
Interesting.
Burger.
Maybe that was just the off-brand that they sold at the high school cafeteria.
The
I
Harvey
think
brand.
so.
I think that's the that should be the brand for that item.
Kitty's
But
new
very
face of
smart
it.
marketing. What
Yeah.
a great name.
100%. Brian, back to you.
Okay, since Kitty takes that right off from under me, I got to go away from the chocolate this time. the king of popsicles, the bomb pop.
Dick. I knew you.
Yeah.
Bomb pops are
Mhm.
delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
the best flavor of the bomb pop?
Cherry.
Blue raspberry.
Ooh, see, I like the white in the middle.
Woo!
I like the
That's
cherry
the
as
worst
well.
part.
Oh,
The-
no,
the-
no.
Cherry takes it. Cherry
No,
takes
sir.
it. I
Isn't
agree
the
that the
white
white is the
lime?
worst.
Is
Lime.
it lime?
Yeah, it's the lime.
Yeah, it's the worst part.
I
I like to save that till
take.
last. I like to save that until last until hopefully it's all melted. I'd like to eat the top and somehow the bottom.
How do
Eat the
you
bottom
save it till
first.
last?
Well,
How
then
do
by
you
that time it's mostly melted. Well, you just kind of eat it like a,
You just
like
inhales
corn on the cob.
Yeah, just slide the stick through so you got the other side now. It's got the white.
Wow.
Just don't touch the middle. You can kind of eat the top and the bottom.
What a weirdo. I'll take
I'm
that
just-
middle from you.
Okay, well, I don't like the middle part. But
Coming to a keep trade cut near you, cherry, lime, or blue raspberry.
They're all three heavenly in my book.
They are good, and the lime is refreshing to its credit for sure. It's a good middle between the two best parts of it. So that's
Oh, okay. It's like
good.
that.
My second pick is going to be, Brian. You mentioned it earlier, but you didn't take it. The Dairy Queen ice cream cake.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Very delicious.
Oh yeah, that was on my list.
Yep, that little, I don't know what it is in the middle there. Got a little fudge and whatever that crumbly cookiness in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard rumors that there are just sole ice cream cakes of just that middle layer somewhere around the world.
Hmm.
I can get on board with that.
Is there a new quest for the summer?
Yeah, there's a great white buffalo all of a sudden.
That's
Because ain't no ice cream on that layer. That is the plate full of pig fat of the frozen
right.
trees. That's what it is.
Have some pig fat and wash it down with one of those.
Oh yeah. Let's just call it quits
ice
real
cream
fast.
cake filling.
Yeah. For my third pick, I'm kind of torn here. I think I gotta go with the Snickers ice cream bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to put a Snickers bar into the freezer, freeze it, and eat it that way. That's very good. But the ice cream instead of the nougat is next
Yeah.
level. So give me that ice cream bar. It's got a good crunch on that outer shell, just like we talked with the Klondike-ness. So give me the Snickers ice cream bar as my third pick. I'm very much enjoying that I got that in the third round, by the way.
It's
'Cause that-
impressive.
When I talk about ice cream bars at a gas station, it's usually a Snickers is the go-to.
True.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Back to Brian.
All right. Treat. This may not be on everybody's board, but it's a frozen treat to me. It was always, as a child, the best part about going to Walmart with mom. We could always get one of those big old ices. Give me the wild cherry ices.
Oh yeah.
That's a
My
good one.
God.
When the Walmarts had the snack bar.
Little
Oh,
cafe,
yeah.
They had like
Mhm.
50-cent hot dogs.
Sometimes you're in the mood for the Coca-Cola icy, but most
Oh, yeah.
times if they got the white cherry, I'm hitting that thing 10 out of 10 times.
That's a suicide move right there. You pick them both.
You
Cherry
got a little
Coke.
mixer.
You do the cherry Coke flavor.
Yep.
They still got ices around somewhere.
Oh,
I
yeah, I'm
don't
sure.
know.
Gas
I haven't seen
station
one in a
near
while,
you.
but
I'm not talking about the offs. I'm talking about ices.
what the bear
Right.
mascot?
Yeah.
Right.
What's the difference between that and a 7-Eleven slushie?
There's a difference.
I don't
Is
know.
there?
I've never had a
I think
7-Eleven
there
slushie.
is a difference.
Like
The
you see the
ices.
machines in at Casey's, and I just don't feel like those are ices. You
Right.
know, it just doesn't feel the same to me.
Yeah.
A lot of things about Casey's, inside Casey's, that I don't feel great about. And there goes our Casey's sponsorship.
Oh.
I'm trying to
love
see
your-
if they have like locate us on their website.
we love your pizzas, Casey's. Let us be your spokesperson.
I mean,
for
Icy
your
still
awesome
has a
pizzas.
running website that say if you want to join them, you can join family.
So they're
Join
still
the
out
team.
there.
They're
It's
still
like a
out there.
rewards program.
Okay.
They'll come
Just
install
haven't
an
not
icy
seen
polar bear
one in so
machine
long.
in your house.
Perfect. move.
God, wouldn't that be great?
Well, that would be. I mean, you talk about man cave setups. That would be next level.
Ooh, even if you
Hey.
rented a machine for a party.
Yep.
$750.
Icy swag. Oh yeah.
Big party. Charge $5 a head.
Man, if you could get one per party, just think about the damage. I mean, I'd have terrible brain freeze. I'd mow through so many ices.
That's like long-term effects brain freeze.
Right.
They got a blue raspberry one too that was delicious.
Yeah. But I can't get away from the cherry and the cola flavored for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two go-tos for sure.
It looks like they sell them in like tubes now. What the hell's that?
What's
Like
that now?
push-ups?
Yeah, kind of.
Like those Otter Pops?
Hey guys, saying picks left and right over here.
We're just trying to catch the styling of the product. What's up with these tubes?
The tubes can't be as good. I can't believe it.
Icy tubes? No way.
You need that the straw with the spoon at the end
Spoon.
in order to enjoy.
That just frustrates the hell out of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you just get to chew
Constantly
on
hitting it, breaking it up, trying to get it back on the bottom. You just somehow you've created a hole where nothing's there at the bottom of the straw.
And low key, best part about the ices is the hole at the top that they just kind of loops out of at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that's so special to me, but it is.
Well, you got that domed lid. You get that. It's like so much free icy.
Yeah, that's the best part is just filling it all the way up to the brim where it just swirls out the top.
Yeah, a little curly cue at the top. Yep.
Then you're emergency suckage.
On that, let's go on the kitty here.
Don't think this one's going to be as a popular pick, but I'm going with from the actual ice cream man who played the great song Driving Down the Street. And I'm going with these ice cream bars that were in the shapes of any sort of cartoon character that had the bubblegum eyes.
Oh, the Ninja Turtles.
Usually a lot of Ninja Turtles I've seen when I was looking up today. It was like those Powerpuff Girls were kind of the new characters they were doing with those.
Sure.
So, but something about that. For some reason, I craved cold bubblegum as a kid. Not sure.
Break your teeth.
I mean, it's a really stupid thing to want to, I got to have bubblegum in my ice cream. But I love those. Just think must have been the character shapes got me hooked early.
Man, those were good.
Knew what they were doing to me.
Interesting.
Nice.
Good pull.
I must not have got the bubblegum eye incarnation of it. That's very interesting to me.
I felt like there were some of them that did. Some of them did not, but
okay. I like that. Rants. What do you got for third and fourth pick?
Well, I'm going with number 3, kind of just back to my childhood, is the old Schwann's push-up. With the orange sherbet or strawberry sherbet. Then when you got done with the very end of it, you could just ram the little plastic dome that held all that just goes flying in the air.
Yep. That's a little.
That was just a nice. It's a fun thing to do at bonus. At the end when you've done hammered down a push pop.
They had a chocolate malt flavored. I remember as well.
It was very good.
Oh.
It was no orange dreamsicle flavored though. That was
those were the best. Man, those were good.
Yep.
And they had to be from the Schwann's, man.
Always.
But they were delicious.
Which is still in shout out to Schwann's as well. That's still in circulation. They're just
we talked about that in another episode, didn't we? That they're still out there.
Very expensive.
Right.
They need to bring back bagel dogs, and I will pay anything. I love bagel dogs. I will pay all of the things and take them in my last pick on the frozen treats draft if it brings back bagel dogs.
Come on, Schwann's.
Come on, Schwann's. Get with it.
You're listening.
Rams kick off the last round here. All the listeners are begging for you to end this.
Yep. And my last one, and this was at a limited time only a few years ago with Sonic. I like
that idea.
Okay. But they had a peanut butter sundae where they melted down the peanut butter like they would hot fudge.
I remember that.
Interesting.
And then they would just pour it on top of the ice cream. And it was just, very, very rich, but just out of this world good. I don't know why they've never brought that back again. I don't understand it. Every time I see one of those Sonic commercials during the summer, I think, oh God, here, Peter Pan, peanut butter bliss or sundae, and it never is. I mean, maybe it's just too good. Maybe it was just too good. They just could never bring it back.
It was a shooting star.
They had this just canister of melted peanut butter, and they just would pour it on top of that sundae, and
Yeah,
That does sound good.
It's delicious.
That might have been when I had the first realization that I couldn't eat ice cream. I think it was immediately following I saw the first commercial for them to do that. And I was like, this is just salt in the wound.
That's
I
rude.
can't have it. And they just
Just
brought out
hurts.
this great creation that I can't have now.
Yeah, I hear you.
I remember that. Kitty, final pick.
I'm going with good old Choco Taco.
Yep.
He did it to me again.
Yeah, you got you again.
Yes, sniping him twice.
Golly.
Don't be so
there.
bad. Don't be so good at DFA, Brian.
Choco Taco.
I love those Choco Tacos.
Is
They're
there
so
no?
good.
Is there not nuts in the Choco Taco? I thought there was.
Ooh,
I don't
good
remember
point.
I don't
Good
remember
point.
nuts being in the Choco Taco.
They're not in it. They're on it. Hold on.
I think of a Choco Taco as the same as a sundae cone. It's just, or the
It
cone
might-
is just.
It might just
could be wrong.
Kind of looks like,
Like
magic
the-
shell on top. Maybe
The like Nestle Crunch things.
Yeah, the Nestle Crunch might be what it is, but some of them
look like they do.
some of them look like peanuts, bro.
I feel like the one I remember did not have peanuts on it. Where's the old Taco
Crunch-
Bell? Where's the old Taco Bell Choco
See,
Taco?
okay, the Taco Bell was the first time I'd ever been introduced to the Choco Taco.
Oh, this
I don't
Google question says it does have nuts on top.
Oh, Kitty's
Oh,
a
well.
fraud.
But I didn't know the Taco Bell one. I didn't even know they even had a
I
Choco.
thought they had them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they had them first. I thought.
Wow.
Taco Bell one has 0 nuts on it. Chocolate sauce, chocolate shells, and sprinkles. Boom, in your face. Other
that, Josh.
other Choco Tacos.
But homemade mini Choco Tacos recipe says peanuts and pecans and cocoa nut. Let's not get
Not-
weird here.
Not mine.
Oh, that's extreme on the
Cocoa
nuts.
nut does not belong in my Choco Taco.
Well, maybe the taco shell was just so good I didn't notice there were peanuts in it.
I mean, there's all kinds. Those like
Maybe they just
confetti
hid in
Choco
there.
Tacos.
Oh yeah, all kinds of different tacos.
I do like Choco Tacos.
I loved them.
Yeah, that was certainly on my
Damn.
board too. That's a good one. Brian, last pick.
Well, I was just second in line at the ice cream truck, and the guy just gave away his last Choco Taco. So I
Story
go
of our
up there with tears in my eyes and I say, just give me the damn Crunch ice cream bar. I'll just eat that. It's a fine
Nestle Crunch
consolation.
bar.
It's not what I wanted, but I'll eat it and enjoy it. And just curse Kitty out. Enjoy that Choco Taco, you son of a bitch.
He's just yelling at me from across the room.
Oh man, what
You're not enjoying it enough. I would have
Last
liked it
time you
more.
took my chocolate chip burger, and now you take Taco Taco.
He's gonna walk up to you and slap both of them out of your hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's
You're
great.
not eating it fast enough to just slap me out of my hands.
Yep,
I'll just eat my sad Crunch ice cream bar.
you are a fraud.
I feel like all the candy bars that make the ice cream equivalents are all really good.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's
There
a
was-
fact.
There's a good Reese's peanut butter cup frozen treat.
There's an M&M
bar that's
ice cream
really
bar
good.
too.
Yep.
M&M one's really good.
Ooh, yeah.
Uh, Before we talk about it, my last pick is the good old fashioned ice cream sandwich.
Mhm.
Love ice cream sandwiches.
Good.
I would have taken that number 1 overall if my heart was like really in this. If my burger was gone, I'm really glad that I got ice cream sandwich in here because it might be the messiest of all the treats,
Mm-hmm.
but it is damn good. And there's so many different variations of it. Very versatile.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
Whit Merrifield of frozen treats.
I kept seeing a Neapolitan version of it out there. I never seen that in real life. Seen it on just pictures online.
Oh, I've had the Neapolitan versions of them very
Okay.
frequently. My body says that I've had plenty of them, but but again, we could do this too. Keep trade cut of the Neapolitan flavors.
Neapolitan's one of the worst ice creams out there.
Yeah, there it is.
There's the take.
Yep.
It's awful.
It is terrible. I agree.
You guys are crazy.
Which is
Just give me the
weird
good
because
flavors.
I used to hate that when they have them at my friends' birthday parties or like at a family function. Like, I ain't eating that shit. I hate Neapolitan.
That's right next to the Werther's Originals for all the old.
How do I just get the chocolate out of this?
Yeah, exactly.
But as adults now, are you seeing the benefit of Neapolitan? Or are you still out?
Nah.
I won't.
Nah.
I won't eat it.
As a
I'd
guy
kick
who
out-
likes the
I'd kick out
lime
vanilla.
part of a bomb pop, you are out on all Neapolitan.
Well, if you're going to an ice cream shop or getting ice cream, there are way better options than 3 average flavors. Just give me the good stuff.
Yep.
Wow.
It's not that hot of a take to me.
Oh,
Just
chocolate
plain
vanilla, that's
Jane.
pretty,
Plain Jane.
I'll
Get it
just say,
out.
Between that and like the Nestle Crunch bar is like I'm not a basic bitch, but I do keep things pretty normal. That's what a Neapolitan and a Nestle Crunch bar have in common, in my mind.
That's you probably got a jar of pistachio pudding in your fridge too.
I mean, I
Or
do love that.
tapioca.
Little tapioca.
Crossing the line. That's going to do it for this very long and a very fun episode. I was very much enjoyed this episode as well, but we appreciate each and every one of you joining us this week. Go check us out on social media at Clearing Waivers. A lot of fun with you guys interacting with you on the Twitters and the Facebook group that we have. But Grants, it's great to have you back, man.
Man, I loved coming back. It was nice. I've missed you guys. I missed the laughs and the camaraderie of it all.
Mm-hmm. The frozen treats draft did not let down. I was really glad that we saved that, especially for you. I feel like there was some
There were some
takes
good
to be
ones in
had.
there.
Yeah.
Yep.
We did good from our standard, which is probably bad by most players, but but we're back to a regular schedule following this week, so we will look forward to every Wednesday again. First thing in the morning, you'll be able to listen to our stupid opinions about frozen treats whenever you would like. But I think that's going to do it for us. Hopefully the Royals continue to dominate the competition. They just lost 7-6. No big deal. Continuing as a 7-game losing streak now. Is that where we're at?
Josh, let's end an episode. Just ended.
Okay, we're going to end it.
It's over, man.
Strike 3 called. It's over.